What terrifies you isn't your darkness, it's how deeply you're drawn to it. People fear monsters, demons, the unknown, but the thing that truly scares a man is the part of himself that he refuses to admit exists. The quiet impulses, the buried urges, the thoughts he hides from the world and from himself. Dostoevsky understood this better than anyone. A man who survived torture, mob, execution, prison, poverty, addiction. He didn't want to write about heroes or saints. He wrote about men staring down at their own shadows. And there's a truth that he exposed. Inside every man there are two selves, the man he pretends to be and the man he actually is. And between them is a chaos he hasn't learned to control. We all feel it, the urge, the fear, the impulse we bury, quiet, familiar, terrifying, and yet we return to it again and again. Today we don't wrestle with our thoughts. We wrestle with the world built to exploit them. A world designed to distract you, overstimulate you, numb you, weaken you, and pull you closer to that darkness. And Dostoevsky saw these three archetypes of destruction long before smartphones exist. The first is the underground man, the man who destroys himself on purpose. He rejects kindness. He pushes away people who try to help him. He stays in misery because misery feels familiar. Change feels like danger. Modern men do the same. Staying in a job they hate, ruining good relationships, refusing responsibility, finding comfort in chaos because it's all they've known. Self-sabotage becomes identity, and identity becomes prison. Then there's Raskolnikov, the man split in two. One part wants greatness, discipline, meaning. The other part hides in guilt, addiction, distraction. He murders an old woman not for money but to prove he's above morality, and then he's crushed by the weight of his own conscience. Modern men repeat the same crime. We preach motivation while drowning in our addictions. We try to build a future while dragging our past behind us. We want better, but we keep feeding the part of us that is killing us. The crime is the lie. The punishment is living with it. And then there's V, a man terrified of silence. He fills his life with stimulation, pleasure, noise. He cannot sit alone with himself, because in the quiet he sees who he really is. Modern men, we're worse than him. We scroll past our lives, we drown in porn, drugs, gambling, endless content. We numb ourselves into oblivion. The numbness becomes a darkness, and the darkness becomes home. Most don't face it, most drift, most fall. Most only wake up when something precious is almost gone. A man only commits to the good after he sees how easily it can disappear. Almost losing it is what makes him lock in. And this is where the modern man collapses. He cheats on the woman who loves him, not because he doesn't care, but because he never understood the value of loyalty until he sees the look in her eyes when she realizes he betrayed her. It's only in that silence, in that distance, in that heartbreak that he realizes what he threw away for a moment of impulse. Loss teaches faster than love. And the addict, he does drugs to escape himself, not knowing he's gambling with his entire existence. Every hit is a coin flip, every high is a warning shot. It's only when he wakes up in a hospital, or doesn't wake up at all, that he understands how precious a heartbeat is, how sacred a breath is. Then there's a young man who never got a chance. Young men die in wars of ego, pride, identity, not nations. One bad night, one corner, one impulse steals decades from their future. Dostoevsky warned us, when a man feels empty inside, he becomes capable of destroying everything around him. And some don't die, some lose everything in slower, quieter ways. The man who loses his home. You think differently when you're thrown out of the house, when your family locks the door, when you can't see your son. All those beautiful memories come back to you in the worst way possible, when you're sitting in a cold cell alone and none of the people you thought were your partners answer the phone. That's when the truth hits. Most people don't love you, they love what you provide. When you fail, they vanish, and you're left with the only company that never leaves, your choices. That's when men realize how thin the line is between I'm fine and my entire life is gone. Every man carries ghosts, the boy he used to be, the promises he broke, the potential he wasted. Dostoevsky's characters aren't fiction, they're mirrors. The darkness inside you isn't here to destroy you, it's here to reveal you. And the modern world makes this battle harder. We live in a machine designed to break men gently, not with violence but with sedation. It gives you endless comfort so you never develop strength, unlimited stimulation so you never learn discipline, constant comparison so you always feel inadequate, easy pleasure so you never build a real life. A man who is overstimulated never realizes he is starving spiritually. A man who is numbed never notices he is dying inside. There are two versions of you: the man who you are right now, chaotic, conflicted, addicted, lost, and the man you could be, disciplined, awake, grounded, dangerous in the right way. Only one will survive. The battle between them is a battle of your life. Dostoevsky didn't write stories, he wrote warnings. He showed us that if you confront the darkness, you become it. If you don't master chaos, the chaos becomes your master. If you don't take responsibility, life will force it upon you in the most brutal ways possible. A man doesn't change because he wants to. He changes because suffering forces him to. He changes when he almost loses his family. He changes when he nearly dies from his addictions. He changes when he's one step away from prison. He realizes his son might grow up without him. He finally sees that he's been living as a ghost his whole life. And once a man understands the cost of his chaos, something inside him shifts. Darkness shapes us. Impermanence teaches us. Suffering opens our eyes. Almost losing everything reveals what truly matters. What you fear isn't your darkness. What you fear is a part of you that knows you're meant for more, but keeps choosing less. The shadow isn't your enemy, it's your map. It tells you where you're weak, where you've been lying to yourself, where you need to grow. A man who pretends he has no darkness is already lost. A man who faces it becomes unbreakable. You don't escape the darkness. You don't outrun your past. You don't kill the chaos inside of you. You learn to control it. You grab it by the throat. You stop letting it tell you who you are. You stop feeding the impulses that drag you backwards. You stop letting the weaker version of yourself make decisions for the stronger one. You take the chaos and you forge it into discipline, into purpose, into responsibility, into strength. You control your chaos so it never again controls you. Because a man who has faced his darkness and mastered it isn't afraid of the world. He is the kind of man the world becomes afraid of. Not because he is cruel, but because he is clear. Not because he is violent, but because he is awoke. Not because he is perfect, but because he knows exactly who he is at his worst and at his best. And once you reach that point, nothing and no one can take your life from you again. Control your chaos or be consumed by it.